Welcome back, riders. I got a bit of a spontaneous video for you all today, as I was starting to go down a rabbit hole and I decided to make a video about it and see what you all think. Naturally, as it is my home park, I've been watching the construction of Wrath of Rakshasa at Six Flags Great America very closely. Chicago Coaster Guy has been uploading drone videos very frequently, so I highly recommend checking out that channel to stay the most up to date. And then there are some other channels like Wheel Gap or Marcus LeShock that have been uploading updates as well. For whatever reason, the thing I've been most interested in during the entire construction process has been where the queue will go and what the general flow of people will be for this roller coaster. There has been virtually no information through statements or promotional material to suggest where the queue will be or anything related to that. However, in Chicago Coaster Guy's most recent update, there was a significant addition to the station work, and it's got me going down this rabbit hole, so let's talk about it. So first off, I want to thank Chicago Coaster Guy for letting me use a screenshot of his drone footage. Second, I just want to reiterate that all footage is captured outside of park property. Six Flags Great America is a no drone zone, so do not fly over or around the park without proper permission. It's not my footage, I don't even own a drone, but I just wanted to cover my bases. Third, I want to preface that I am not an engineer or designer or anything along those lines. Plus, this whole video is just me spitballing ideas. So I could very easily be wrong about things from both a technical aspect and or a speculative aspect. Of course, I would love to hear your ideas or what you think of mine, so feel free to let me know in the comments below. Moving on, this screenshot was taken on Saturday, March 1st. Compared to Chicago Coaster Guy's prior update, there was some significant work done to the station. They ended up effectively expanding the station by building a walkway to the west or the demon side of the station. You can see the base of the station ends not too far away from the track, but with the addition of the walkway, the station really starts to open up. While I wouldn't say this new construction really tells much about where the meat of the queue is going, I might have an idea of where you will enter and exit now, also giving us an idea of which side is the load and which side is the unload for the station. To support my ideas, I referred to the configuration of the station for Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland. I think it is really good to compare to Yukon Striker specifically because 1, it's a B&M dive coaster, just like Wrath, and 2, it has the bin system that Wrath will also be implementing. Once I get into my custom diagrams, you're going to be able to see the two stations are not the same, but I think there are some things to take away from Yukon Striker's configuration. To help visualize what is going on underneath the roof, I went ahead and made this to showcase people flow and the bin system. Any black arrow is a direction of travel. It could be for people, or the trains, or even the bin system. I'll walk through it sequentially in a second, but let's go over the shaded regions real quick. The light green is the station surface. This is pretty much anywhere people can walk. The orange is the roller coaster track. The darker green is the loading zone. The dark purple is the bin system, while the lighter purple is where you can put away and or pick up your belongings. The red is the operator booth. The lighter red is where I believe the elevator is. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's there. The light blue is the transfer area, while the dark blue is the storage bay. So let's walk through the people flow. The queue for Yukon Striker is actually kind of complicated. First off, there is a fair bit of cattle pens that are not shown in this diagram, or at least I did not highlight them in my diagram. You can see one of them is under the roof structure to the left of the storage bay. But anyways, towards the end of the queue, you get to a point where I placed the start text. It was too complex to add it to the diagram, but there are at least 3 and maybe even 4 queues here. One is the general line, one is the fast lane line, one for single riders, and then I believe there is a 4th all the way to the right for ADA that leads to the elevator. But once you get to the yellow box I labeled split, this is where the merge for the normal line and the fast lane occurs, But then there are 3 lines after that point. One for single riders, one for the front row, and one for rows 2 and 3. You take some stairs below the track to walk underneath it, and then you start ascending stairs to get to the same level as the station. The red circle is a separator. They will fill row 1 using the row 1 queue, and rows 2 and 3 using the, you guessed it, rows 2 and 3 queue. And then any empty seats are, hopefully, taken by a single rider. Once you are assigned a row, this is your opportunity to put away belongings if needed. There's even a sink up there for liquids and whatnot, but anyways, once you put your stuff away, while you are riding, your belongings will make their way over the track and onto the other side of the platform. As a rider, after you put your belongings away, you go to your assigned row, ride the ride, and then exit towards the left. You go to pick up your belongings that have magically appeared on the unlined side of the platform, and then the exit is where I put the finish text. So let's use the Yukon Striker station configuration to try to get an idea of what the people flow on Wrath of Rakshasa might look like. First off though, we have to try to get a general idea of the top-down view of the station since we obviously don't have it on satellite yet, so I can't use that. In general, you can start to see that the station makes an L shape just like Yukon Striker. On the right side of the screen, or the east side of the station next to the service road, you can see part of the station jets out from the general rectangle they have going there to create that L shape. And then on the other side of the station, the west side or the midway or the demon side, you can see a square taken out of the rectangle in the top left corner. Noting this, I'll start to create a top-down view of Raph's station. Let's start with the seemingly more concrete things and then start talking about possibilities and speculation. This is very base level of what we are working with right now. I tried my best with the proportions, but it's harder to be more accurate without satellite imagery, so I try my best. But at the bare minimum, this is what we are looking at. We have the track heading south, and we know the storage and transfer are to the east or service road side. Judging from the drone shot, it does not seem like the station extends all the way to the end of the transfer track and storage shed, so that's why I made that wall fall short there. I added that thick line on the right side of the station to signify that is roughly where the foundation of the station ends down below. Everything to the right or west of that line is theoretically available to walk under. So where do we go from here? From this point on, it's pretty much all speculation at this point. Maybe we will find out soon with further construction or some kind of information from the park, but for today, it's just trying to go through scenarios and pick what you like or what you feel strongest about, I guess. I think the first order of business is determining which side is unload and which side is load side. I think both options are on the table right now. I don't really see anything that rules out either option, in my opinion. For me, though, I am very slightly leaning towards the load side being the west side and the unload side being the east side. So I'm going to roll with that for the diagrams going forward. What leaves me to believe that that will be the configuration is because for Yukon Striker, the side with the square or the rectangle missing from the rectangle was the load side, and the side with the 90-degree bend and the short side of the L was the unload side. So let's get a bare bones idea of what the people flow might look like with that configuration. With the west side being load and east side being unload, this is a rough idea of how I think people would move around. You start by going up the stairs to the right, make your way to the east side of the platform after riding, and then in that dark gray I have the ride exit. There will at least be stairs to get from the station level to the ground, but who knows if there will be further stairs down and back up to avoid the track while you walk under it. Either way, once you walk underneath the track, you would take a right-hand turn and then walk under the station to continue exiting. And then somehow, some way, you'll end up in a gift shop because, as the wise Homer Simpson once said to his family, we're at a theme park. they're not going to let us leave while we have a dime in our pockets. So with this configuration, let me take a couple more dart throws at some of the finer details. I went ahead and added the elevator, ride-op booth, and bin system. Generally speaking, the ride operator booth seems to be on the unload side at the front of the train, so that's why I went ahead and placed it there. Given that ADA is usually run through the exit and boarded on the unload side, I went ahead and put an elevator next to the ride operator booth. This would have to assume that there were no stairs going down and up while walking underneath the track. I put it next to the ride operator booth by making that left turn, but I could see an alternative where instead of going left, you just go straight and have an elevator there once you hit that wall. I kind of made a tough call with putting the bins on the north side of the station. I think it is a little bit of a bottleneck going from the top of the stairs and then having everybody go there to put their things away and then, maybe back to row 1 or 2. But in this scenario, I don't think the bin system would work on the south end because of the rod operator booth and the elevator right there. The bin system is great, don't get me wrong, but it also looks kind of ugly. So I'm not sure if they would want it in the front of the station where all the riders sitting down in a train can see it. I also had the bin system round the corner onto the east side of the wall, but I suppose it doesn't have to, and you could just pick your things up on the north side of the station on the unload side. But this is roughly what I'm thinking if you have the west side being load and the east side being unload. I went ahead and did a quick diagram if it was vice versa and the east side was load and the west side was unload. And I'm going to be honest, I might like this one more than the other way around. With this configuration, I think the area for putting your things away in the bin would be more open, and with this layout going down and up to avoid walking under the track isn't a factor with placing the ADA elevator. In this scenario, the elevator is before walking under the track, so no worries there. That makes it a little easier. Also, it is hard to see in the drone shot I used for this video, but earlier in the construction process, there was a random freestanding wall all the way to the west of the general area of the station. In the drone shot in this video, that wall is directly underneath the edge of the walkway they built. Maybe they built that wall for the elevator, which is conveniently roughly the same area I have it in this diagram right now. I'm still leaning more towards the first layout I showed since it aligns better with the configuration of Yukon Striker, but I think both diagrams make sense on the surface level. I almost like this one on the screen more to be honest, but who knows, it's too early to tell. Yet at the same time, we might find out in a matter of days with the rate construction is starting to pick up. So that's why I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible before it is outdated. Please let me know in the comments below if these ideas make sense, maybe any tweaks you would make, or, let me know which side you think is load or unload. This was a very niche video, but sometimes these are the things you resort to in the off season, especially given how excited I am to ride Wrath of Rakshasa this upcoming season. Thank you all for checking out the video, and see you next time. Push down, pull up, exit to the right. Hope you enjoyed the video, and go have your greatest day yet. Choo choo, bye!